Have you ever wondered why gun control is such a big issue in this country? Or how we, as United States citizens, can protect our rights to use and own firearms? Now, if you're like me, you take gun ownership seriously. You accept the rules and responsibilities that come along with it. I'm Larry Gandy, and today I would like to talk to you a little bit about firearm safety. To fully encompass firearm safety, I'm going to cover three things. First of which, I'm going to cover the basic components of a rifle, this one being a Ruger 22-250. Secondly, I'm going to talk about safing the gun during storage, and I'm going to give you some surprising statistics in regards to that. And finally, I'm going to talk to you about using the firearm safely and for its intended use. First, I'm going to talk to you about the components of this rifle. I'm going to start back here. We have a recoil pad that's attached to the butt of the weapon. This is basically just to protect your shoulder during firing. We have a trigger guard, the trigger. Have the safety, a bolt handle, and a bolt. This particular rifle is a bolt action rifle, meaning you would have to cycle the bolt back and forth each time to either inject a round into the chamber or eject a round after firing. This is the chamber, the forward stock, and the barrel. The barrel on this rifle is 28 inches long, making the rifle a total of 48 inches long. It'll hold 4 rounds internally. This particular rifle has a Bushnell scope attached to it with a 12x zoom. Now, as you can tell, this is a beautiful rifle. But it's also a weapon. And it's a dangerous weapon. This weapon can cause serious injury and death. And it's important that you remember that. And it's important that you know these components, because if you're unfamiliar with the rifle that you're using, accidents are more prone. So now that we know a little bit about the rifle and its components, let's talk a little bit about storing your rifle safely. Now, according to the website momlogic.com, there are 2 million firearms in the United States today. As of 2008, 35% of the houses in the United States have at least one firearm. Now, this is the statistic that was a little scary to me. In 2008, 1.7 million children were living in homes that had firearms that were either unsafe or loaded. Unacceptable. The best thing to do to safe your firearm is to put it in a gun safe. To clear the weapon and put it in a safe and lock it up. If a gun safe is unavailable, I suggest you using a bolt lock. I'll demonstrate how to install a bolt lock now. We're going to leave the firearm on its side for this demonstration. I'm going to undo the safety so that I can twist the bolt and pull it back. I'm going to pop open the bottom of the chamber. I'm going to take the bolt lock and slide it through from the underneath side and lock it. And remove the key, because if you don't remove the key, the lock does no good. So as you can see, this rifle, while still it's a good looking gun, but that's all it is now. It's eye candy. You can't fully close the bolt. You can't inject a round. And if you pull the trigger, nothing happens. Easiest way to safe a rifle, if you don't have a gun safe, it's your best alternative. So now that we know a little bit about storing your firearm, let's talk a little bit about using the firearm safely and for its intended use. Now, according to the website, thesurvivorsclub.com, who are a group of hunting accident survivors, there are on average 160 hunting accidents reported annually. Many of those can be prevented by education and training, by not shooting blindly into bushes, or if you hear a noise over to your right, you're just going to fire. Those can be avoided. Now, I'm going to demonstrate a shooting posture for you. You notice the firearm butt tight against my shoulder, my cheekbone touching the stock, and my right eye looking down the scope. Now, for instance, I have a target 100 yards away. Now I'm not just simply looking at the target, I'm looking beyond the target. Line of sight beyond the target, because this round, when it flies, when the firing pin is hit and it goes through the barrel, it's going to go to the target and potentially go through it. And if something was to be on the other side of the target, it's going to go and it's going to hit that, and it's going to keep going until it hits something hard enough to stop it. This is why it's important not to fire blindly into the bushes, not to fire at a noise that you hear on, coming out of the woods. You have to verify your target and know what's beyond it before you pull the trigger. So what did we cover today? We covered the basic components of the Ruger 22-250. I gave you some interesting statistics on storing your firearm safely, and we talked about line of sight and using the firearm for its intended purpose. Training and education is a huge component of firearm safety. Accept the rules and responsibilities to owning a gun if you choose to. If you choose to own a gun, accept the rules and responsibilities. I want to thank you for your time. Have a good day.